from Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 501, ushering in a new era of Connected today. Today's show is brought to you by our excellent sponsors, Gem, NetSuite, and Ecamm. I'm one of your co-hosts, Federico Vitici, and it's my pleasure to introduce, straight from Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Federico. How are you?
I'm doing well. Don't you agree it's a new era for Connected?
I think so. 501, baby.
501. You know, it's the new millennium or something.
It is. Speaking of the new millennium, we're also joined by Myke Hurley.
Yes, well known. I was born in the year 2000. That's me.
Yeah.
Millennium baby.
Not true, thankfully.
The Millennium baby, Myke Hurley. That's what they call me. Born in 2000.
Kids who were born in 2000 are turning 24 this year.
Yeah, I know well as being one of them.
You're not. You're not one of them.
The Millennium baby. That's what everyone around
Y2K baby.
Y2K. That's why there's a Y in my name.
Yeah.
It's my 2K.
My 2K.
That's me. That's
my
me.
2K.
My 2K. My 2K Hurley.
Yeah.
If only I was changing my Instagram handle. That's what I would change it to.
My 2K.
Millennium baby. My 2K.
So I have some follow up on that. My Meta Verified has expired now. So I could change my name. And I was looking at it today, and there's no good options.
Well, I mean,
I waited too long.
Options, though, right? There might not be good ones, but there are options. Where are you leaning?
I mean, the only one, I feel like I could go back to Stephen M. Hackett, but that's too long. Stephen Hackett, S. Hackett, they're all taken. Then I thought, well, what if I could be cute? It was like, Stephen with a PH or Stephen no V, all those are taken.
No, that's bad.
So
what about ISMH 512? What's just something with 512 in it? Stephen 512, 512 Hackett, Or you could just be like, you just be 512 pixels. You could just do that. You could just brand yourself.
Yeah. CGP Hackett was taken.
Have you considered changing your legal name to do this in a good way?
512 pixels.
It could be that, yeah.
Fork Bomber's my father,
No, that's a shame.
That's an old reference.
I really feel like maybe you should have had a good option before you turned off the Meta Verified.
Well, you couldn't even search. Remember we talked about this?
Yes, I forgot that. Sorry.
So
because even searching for names in search doesn't actually give you the answer sometimes, does it?
Right.
To actually do the thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad system. So I'm still looking for suggestions. 1231 1999 Hackett. 4112 is my father. These are lots of good things. Okay. That's not what we're talking about today, though. We're going to be talking about, of course, Apple's Let Loose iPad event. We're going to be grading our scores. But first, I want to hear from the two of y'all. You were both in attendance at Apple Battersea, which looks like an incredible place. Tell us a bit about the event, and then you also met Apple's next CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Federico and I got invited to the Apple Battersea, which is Apple's, I think, European headquarters.
Yeah.
It is a full-on campus in the way that Apple Park is a campus.
Yeah.
It's not like before they had buildings and stuff, but no, this is like a full thing. I got to go there, I think a year ago. I went to a workshop, and I think I spoke about it on a couple of shows. But this is the most that I've gotten to see and the most time I've spent there. Similarly, I think, Federico, this was the first time that you had seen it.
Yeah.
And we got to go really into the building, into their huge atrium, which is beautiful. And we both put lots of photos up online. But this, so effectively, what Apple seemed to do this time I'm not really sure the reason why, is they had two events that were going on. One was in Battersea and one was in New York. The New York event, I think, is a thing that they have done before, where they have this house, I think, or a large kind of building somewhere in Manhattan, where they have done lots of briefings and stuff, and they use that, and they've also have a screening room. But what they did at Battersea, it felt much more like what Apple does for keynotes now. It felt like a smaller version of WWDC or an alternate version of a Steve Jobs Theater kind of thing, where they just had this huge screen It was massive, great sound, hundreds of chairs. There were hundreds of people there.
Yes.
There were, and it wasn't just European media. It was basically everywhere except America. So there was lots of Asian media, lots of European media as well. And then they had like a huge hands-on area as well. But it was beautiful. Like the Battersea campus, I think it's even prettier than Apple Park. You can see it takes a lot of cues design-wise from Apple Park, but with a European architectural style. So there's lots of red brick and stuff like that. So yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it was like a proper Apple event. Like, there was like a media filing center for like members of the press to sort of hang out and get their work done. Like, it did feel like a mini replica of WWDC in a way. Yeah, obviously the building, I mean, it speaks for itself, but I did appreciate like all the little touches. Like, for example, the elevators, they feel like an Apple product. They're all white with rounded corners and essentially no buttons inside. I think there's only like an emergency button.
There was a door closed button, which didn't seem to do anything when I pressed it, but that was it.
Yeah, it was like a Johnny Ive elevator. I don't know if there's ever a problem how you can escape the elevator, but that was it. Yeah, beautiful space. This is like the new reality of just like we're all watching a video together as a sort of like the world's greatest watch party for an Apple keynote, I guess. But yeah, I had a good time. And I gotta say, the South Bank in London, I told Myke, like surprisingly very nice. Like I was not expecting, like we took a long walk along the river with Myke. It was beautiful. We did. Like it was very, very pretty. And it was also a nice day, which helped. But yeah, I was expecting to sort of be thrown into this like urban, modern situation with like skyscrapers, and that was it. But no, it was actually very pleasant, and that mix of like old architecture and new buildings that you can see throughout London. But the South Bank was very nice.
It's a beautiful part. It's my favorite part of London. It was nice to hear you and John on Unwind, and you were telling John the stories that I told you. I enjoyed listening to my stories through you. That was very nice. It's very cute. But yeah, it was also just a very good time. And look, I just got to say it, all right? So we watched the keynote. At the end of the keynote, my heart skipped a beat because friend of the show, John Turnus, appeared on stage. So the event was introduced by Greg Josuak for us in the same way that there's been some like previous events have been introduced by like Tim Cook and stuff, right? Like a WWDC where Tim and Craig come out and do their like, thank you for being here, da 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 da. And for this one, Greg came out and he was like, we're so excited to do this. Like, we love London. We love Battersea. Like, this is a building that is really important, and we're so happy to have been part of the regeneration of it. Then he said about how many people they had there and like how many members of the press and where they come from. And then afterwards, John Turnus came onto the stage and was like, I hope you're really excited about these products behind you, because they do that thing where like they had a wall which disappeared and nobody knew or heard about it. Behind you is the hands-on area. So then we went there. But then Federico and I had the opportunity to introduce ourselves to John Turnus in the hands-on area, which was very exciting for everyone, including me, mostly me. It was very exciting for me. I was a little bit like, I was a bit nervous, but it was good. But I had like, we had a little chat. I had one of these things, when like you say something to someone and you regret that you said it. Like I have one of those. So like I was talking to him, I was like, so why were you on a train? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, why did I ask that? But then he said, I think it was too much of me in that video. And I was like, no, it's not enough, which was what I actually said. I was like, no, it's not enough. No, that part I was happy with. The train part I was shouldn't have said, but it's like not enough. And I was like, the wink was fantastic. And he liked that. So, and then I asked for a selfie, which he seemed actually genuinely excited. I realized afterwards, maybe he doesn't get asked for selfies a lot. At least not yet. We'll talk about this in a minute, but who knows where he's going to go in the future. But I was very happy to meet John Turnus. I did not think that was going to happen. I've been hoping it would happen because he's the best and I love him. So it's really cool.
Yeah, he looks very happy in this photo. That's really, I like to think that you like made his day.
I think that it was, just from the way that people were, it didn't really seem like a lot of people were like going up and talking to him. Because I think to a lot of the general media, he's still maybe not that well known, even though it is clear Apple is positioning him as the product person, right? Like he does all the product stuff now. But yeah, it was great. And it was, Federico, do you remember what he said to you?
I believe when I introduced myself, I said, "I know you," and then I said, "I'm a big fan." And he said, "I'm a big fan of you." It's like, are you really?
Yes, he said. Well, all I remember, he says, "I know you."
Yeah,
that was what he said.
you're the guy who cut a MacBook in half.
I know you.
You're the guy who chops our products in half.
So, yeah.
Yes, I thought that was fantastic.
You're on the same list Quinn Nelson is after he cut the back of the Mac Pro open.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think I am.
I know you.
I know you. That's very funny. I don't think he meant that threateningly, but it's funny that it is.
I don't think it was a threat. He said it like it was fun, but it was, in essence, it was for what you've done.
Yes.
What what was unsaid.
Was it in parentheses? I know
Yes.
you for what you've done.
That's right.
I'm acutely aware of your escapades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did bring the MacPad with me, and I took it out while sitting in front of the stage. Took a picture for proof.
Did people respond to it? Like, did someone look over and be like, "What the hell"?
No.
People may have been
responded.
looking. We don't. You know what I mean? Like, because we were just sitting down, in the like watching the keynote. You know what I mean? Like, and that was what Federico took out to take some notes on.
I
like
bet.
Mad lad.
I bet at WWDC it will garner some attention.
We'll see.
I can't wait to see it.
There were multiple people who said to Federico, "Do you actually use that thing?" Like they hadn't seen it, but they were like referring to it, and they were like, "Do you actually use it?" And every time Federico said, "Yes, I used it," and then would tell me that he was upset that people ask him, which I understand why, because it's like, of course I use it. This isn't like a stunt.
Yeah.
So that was happening, which was quite funny.
That's good. We should talk about John Ternus's future because in addition to introducing a bunch of new iPads this week, there was also a report in Bloomberg from Mark Gurman outlining Apple's CEO plans. And it basically seems like if Tim Cook were to retire very soon, Jeff Williams may take over. But Jeff Williams is only 2 years younger than Cook at 61.
I don't think that's going to...
Cook is 63. I don't think it's going to happen either.
No.
And it seems like John Ternus is maybe next in line. So reading from Gurman, I think this is actually really interesting. Ternus is well liked inside Apple, and he's earned the respect of Cook, Williams, and other leaders. Tim likes him a lot because he can give a good presentation. He's mild-mannered, never puts anything into an email that is controversial. Apple's learning their lesson. And is like, no spicy emails, no Eddie Q. Eddie Q is also quoted in here, or is not quoted, but has privately told colleagues that Ternus should be the next CEO.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I like to hear that part specifically because I could imagine a scenario where Eddie Q would like the job. You know?
And Eddie Q, in kind of a weird way, like I know he's sort of over the top sometimes, but like his deal making, like that is an important part of what an Apple CEO could do potentially. Right. It's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously we know Apple more than we know other companies, but it feels like at Apple, the CEO kind of has their thing and the people around them kind of fill in. I assume that's how all companies work. But if Eddie were to be CEO, then you have to like find another deals guy potentially. Like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But Ternus, of course, is a hardware person. And there are some people, because this is always political, again, quoting Gurman, Ternus is a great guy, a person close at Apple says, but he's honestly really junior. He comes off as just one of the guys in the room. Being the CEO of a multi-trillion-dollar company, you better command presence in the room. I don't read much into that. A, there's always politics with this, but B, like you can learn that, right? I would imagine, just like Apple's executives go through training to be better presenters, right? It's not natural that you're as good as presenting as they are. They've been trained for that. You can also train like presence and how to command a meeting, and like that can come with experience. So I don't read the sort of naysayers in Gurman's article as a big problem for our boy John.
I wish I could find this, but this isn't the first time that Mark Gurman has spoken about this. So one of the ways that I became familiar, like quite familiar with John Turnus, was from a previous report that Mark had done quite a while ago, going through the potential people that could take over. And John Turnus was mentioned then, but he wasn't showing up very much at that point. Like, we weren't too familiar with him. And it wasn't too long after that he started appearing in, like, because it was Apple Silicon was what propelled him onto keynote stages, right? So it was before then. But I remember he wrote this article where he was listing out a large selection of people, many names that I did not know, and was going through who could potentially be seen as someone. And Turnus was even being referenced then. This was years ago now, as a potential candidate for CEO in the future. And like, reading that article is why I have mentioned like many times, and he has been in my mind as someone who could do the job. Like, as I've been seeing him talk more, be more visible, and he seems very personable. He seems like a really nice guy, but very smart. He's been in the company like 20 something years. Like, he really feels like someone who could do this. He's young, right?
Yeah.
Like, handsome, obviously. He's good at, like, and he, I think that this report from me kind of seals it as like, this is where it's going, because of all the positive things that are being said about him. The negative things, obviously, right? Like, but the positive things, like, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah. Can I read something to you?
Can.
This is from the 2024 annual Rickies. My risky pick: Apple CEO succession plan leaks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have to come back to this, because I don't know if I would call this is going to have to be argued. I think
so. I'm marking it yellow in the document for now.
This doesn't feel like a succession plan to me. This just feels like further reporting from Mark Gurman. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Where there's smokes, there's fires, and so we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see if John Turnus is on fire.
I mean, but look, there is. I would want to go back to listen to what we were talking about at the time, because, like, I don't know if this would count as a succession plan, but we'll have to see.
We'll see. We have all year. That's the best part.
But let's say it's going well for you so far, because like this is about as close as it could be before they like 100% have the plan out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, let me just read you the other risky picks for the annual games, just for context.
Why would you do this though? Why would you do
Myke, a game made by a studio owned by Meta, is released on Vision Pro.
Still could happen.
Federico, a new iPad Pro will feature a front-facing camera on the landscape side, higher than 27-watt fast charging, and eventually support more than 4 windows in the same Stage Manager workspace.
It can still happen. It can still happen.
Well, what about the charging?
The Magic Keyboard supports 60-watt pass-through.
Okay.
So I think we're both in the ballpark.
Yeah, we're still...
Whoa. There's no reason to suggest I'm not in the ballpark, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg really seems cool with the Vision Pro. So
look, the ballpark. Yeah, he might just be like, "Here you go, is a game for you." You know,
maybe. Do you guys just sometimes think about the time he reviewed it, like in a conference room?
I still think about the time he smoked some meats. Honestly.
Oh man, Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
I think about Mark every time I go grocery shopping, because in my grocery store, the Sweet Baby Ray's is right by the door for some reason. There's like a stand of them all the time.
And you just think of Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's. We have some follow-out as well. Tell us about the most recent app stories.
We were able to interview Riley Testot, the founder of AltStore, developer of the Delta emulator and the Clipboard Manager. Riley's just a fantastic person to talk to. That he's been developing for iOS for iOS and iPadOS, I guess now too, for such a long time. And we were thinking that this would be the perfect time to interview Riley about sort of the entire AltStore saga with the DMA and AltStore PAL launching, and sort of the behind the scenes of Delta and Clip coming together as apps released, one on the App Store worldwide, but also on Alt Store, and of course Clip, and how Clip got approved and notarized by Apple with all the technologies that they're using in Clip. And yeah, it was just a really good conversation with Riley about sort of how this entire plan came together thanks to the DMA and what it was like for Riley and the other Alt Store co-founder Shane, sort of traveling all around Europe for a month. It was a really fun story, and I think it's a good interview. So if you haven't listened, you should go check it out.
I love in the interview where he's talking about meeting with Apple and the EU. He's like, yeah. our apps, our alternative app marketplace is ready to go. And Apple's like, whoa, that's so fast.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable. Riley does seem like an awesome person. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Jam. If you're a web developer and you work with a team, you'll know that sometimes your coworkers will send you bug reports with very little context. Like maybe just a text description with no screenshot, no console logs or user ID. So instead of fixing it, what you want to do, you have to go back to that person who made the ticket to hunt down the right information. Or go back and forth over weeks in the ticket comments trying to figure out if it was the local storage API, a response from a network request, cookies at the time zone you're in. It all ends up being really frustrating trying to figure out what actually went wrong. Jam is the solution. It's used by more than 90,000 people because it's a free tool that saves web developers and designers a ton of time and frustration. It ensures your teammates make the perfect bug report every time. They literally can't do it wrong because Jam automatically includes a video of the bug, console logs, network requests, all the information you need to debug, like even what the internet speed was at the time. It then automatically lists out the steps to reproduce the bug. And it's easy to get your teammates on board because this is just a Chrome extension. So when they encounter a bug, they just click a button, and right away it creates a ticket in your issue tracker. So it saves time for them, and it saves you a lot of hopping on calls and meetings to debug. If you're a web developer and you would rather spend your time writing code than responding to comments in your issue tracker, send your team over to jam.dev. That's jam.dev, jam.dev, or click the link in the show notes. Our thanks to Jam for their support of Connected and Relay FM. Okay, before we get to the rules, I just wanted to read this feedback from Ramon, who listened to episode 500 after listening to so they watched the keynote and then listened to the Rickies. They did it backwards. Okay. This is what they wrote. It is a transformative experience to listen to a Rickies after the keynote, and I recommend it to all listeners. It feels so much more like watching a Hitchcock nail-biter as you wonder which hero will make a fatal mistake and tumble from the heights of glory to taste bitter defeat.
Ramon is a great writer, first of all.
Yeah.
I like this approach. I like it. It's a good idea. So we'll see who's the fallen hero, I guess.
We will see, but first we have to explain what this game is. So we turn to the Bill of Rickies. The Rickies is a game that Connected hosts play before Apple keynotes and the beginning of a new year, trying to predict future events. It is made up of 3 rounds. Each host makes 2 regular picks followed by a risky pick. There are 2 types of Rickies, annual and keynote. We're playing keynote Rickies today. That winner is named the keynote chairman. This position is held until the next keynote. After the Rickies, the hosts then play a game called the Flexies. These 2 games are separate but related. Please stand for the reading of the rules. Correct regular picks are awarded 1 point. The language used for regular picks must be finalized and agreed upon during recording, and no partial points may be awarded. Correct risky picks are worth 2 points, but wrong ones will cause a point to be deducted from that host's total. Picks must have been approved as risky by the 2 other hosts before the start of the game. Picks made for Keynote Rickies cannot be reused by the host who made them for the next keynote. The annual Rickies have their own set of rules, but we don't care about those today. All hosts are allowed to reuse picks previously made by others. Scoring is completed during recording and cannot be modified once an episode is complete. In the event of a tie, Dice by PCalc must be used in Relay FM mode to pick a winner. In the case of a three-way tie, maybe pay attention to this, hosts may all make their calls at the same time, with flipping continuing until a winner is named. Jason Snell has a lifetime ban on flipping any coins in relation to the Rickies. Coin flips by Jason on other podcasts are allowed, but are frowned upon and subject to public shaming. For Keynote Rickies, the scoring window starts when the live stream begins and closes when the picks are scored. Any information used in scoring must be publicly verifiable at the time of recording. The order of picks is set by previous performance. The winner of the previous associated game goes first, the previous loser goes last. Winners will be recognized during the closing ceremonies. And as a reminder, the last Keynote Rickies was October, the M3 event. Federico won by coin flip, and then me, and then Myke. You may be seated.
Okay.
Jason Snow has a lifetime ban.
We don't talk about that.
Kind of bummed we're not doing the AI rules again. That's too bad. People loved it. People loved it. I don't understand why.
Universally loved and adored.
Some people loved it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I did. Okay, round one. Federico, name your pick.
I said the new iPad Pros come with a new to the platform display technology. We're not harmonizing anymore, right?
No, because I turned the thing on Zoom. So could y'all hear the bell?
Nope.
No.
It's in music mode. Okay. All right.
Try again.
There we go.
No.
Still didn't hear the bell.
Yeah, it's
What
fine.
in the world? Well, it
yeah.
You've not
whatever.
done it correctly. Whatever it is you're supposed to have done, it's not been done.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got OLED, and not just OLED, tandem OLED. So, it's two is better than one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is like tandem OLED. Quinn Nelson did an excellent video on this. It's actually not a new technology. It's something that's been sort of proposed many times before. And there are always issues with tandem OLEDs, like this idea of stacking two OLED panels on top of each other. There have always been issues with losing the sort of the luminance of OLED and light leaking through. And it's unclear what method Apple employed with this tandem OLED technology, but it's here. It's in the new iPad Pros, and it's supposedly the best display Apple has ever made. I'm curious to see whenever they will be published those display review. What's the name of the website that does them, like Display Mate or something, that they do the in-depth analysis of the displays that Apple uses. But yeah, OLED. That's I love it.
I have a story for y'all about this. I was reminded of this when watching the keynote. He's like, it's always been a magical piece of glass, and we, that's what we want to build. And we finally, this is the iPad we dreamed from the beginning, all that flowery language they use. So, years and years ago, we may not have been married yet. I forget. Maybe we were engaged. Mary and I went to have ice cream with some friends. Next to the ice cream place was a glass company. So they made, I guess, like glass for windows and cars and that sort of stuff. And they had a sign that said, "We cut glass." But someone thought it'd be funny to alter the sign so it said, "We cut." That was bleeped in the edit, but you can probably figure it out. They removed the G and the L. And so I thought about that story when he said it was a magical piece of glass. John Turnus, they finally made a beautiful sheet of.
Oh man,
you can put all that together yourself,
Mm-hmm. Is this always on? Is this an always on display?
It is not an always on display.
It's not.
Actually. It is not an always on display. I personally think this might be something that we see added in iOS 18 or iPadOS 18. They might do something there to make it an always on display. But even though it is has the capabilities the same as the iPhone, they have not put an always on display on this iPad.
Hmm.
Standby mode for iPad OS.
It'd be
Pretty
awesome.
Sweet, right?
It'd be so good. Especially, I mean, you just like have your iPad next to your computer. You know, it can feel useful. It'd be great.
I mean, it would follow the trend, right? Because like
Mhm.
always on standby mode is iOS 17, so it should be in iPad OS 18 if they added it.
Yeah, but when the OLED or when the always on iPhone was announced, it was like, oh, it's always on. Like, would they announce a hardware feature that's not enabled until a later iPad? I mean, maybe
Standby was not a thing, was it?
it was not, but this display was always on before that. Standby is like the different mode with the widgets.
Yeah, I know, but maybe they just haven't got like a good like
I don't know.
in iPad OS 17. Like, what would it be? It's just like a huge, grayed out photo of
With
your family.
Some tiny
like,
widgets on the side.
Why not?
What I want is Panic status board thing. you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
for
Yes.
iPad OS. Like
Yeah.
loads and loads of widgets, like all widgets. Let's
It'd be
go,
awesome.
all widgets,
It'd be awesome.
all the time.
Could I suggest an app to make widgets?
What is it? Color widgets?
Wow.
Look,
Look,
who doesn't know about Widgetsmith?
I don't know.
You know, like
I'm
you've
just
got
doing my part.
Do you think you need to do acquisition marketing on this podcast
just
for
doing my part.
Widgetsmith?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if
good.
standby, comes to the iPad, we'll be ready.
Mm-hmm. It'll be great.
My pick: Apple announces updates for Final Cut Pro and or Logic for the iPad. Ding!
Ding, ding, ding.
That's
Yes.
good. That's better. That's very, I would say, very impressive pick here from you because
Yeah.
a round one pick, like that, it's
Mhm.
bold. I think. I think there was some passion in there.
Yeah.
And, it happened. I think the Final Cut updates are amazing.
Me too.
Yes. The multicam stuff is really good.
Yeah. And the thing that they've done for Logic, where you can just drag a voice memo recording in and it splits it out into different stems, I really want to see that in action. Like with a non-Apple chosen piece of music,
Mhm.
and see how well that does at like ripping it out with the power of artificial intelligence. But the Final Cut camera and multi-cam stuff is really impressive. That's very, very genuinely very impressive. And it's a thing that makes Final Cut for iPad stand alone, I think, and like ahead of Final Cut for the Mac. Because you could just wirelessly connect up a bunch of iPhones to an iPad and do this thing. I think that is like very impressive on its own. Like, yes, of course you can do a multicam setup with the Mac, but it's much more complicated than this. This is very easily done and really very cool. And will, I'm sure, make a lot of content creators' lives even easier. So I think it's really sweet what they're doing with that.
And that's not powered by machine learning, it's powered by AI. We have seen the rebrand.
Yeah, it's AI.
Everything's
All things
AI,
are
baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because AI is just machine learning, and so we now have to retroactively rebrand everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do, I think I said this on MPU, but I do, when I look at that Final Cut multicam feature, I think Apple's shooting all these videos now on iPhones.
Mhm.
Like, this is something somebody wanted. Like, yeah, we can build that. I think it's really cool.
I would expect, especially the Pro Camera app that they built, is something that their production team was like, we need this. Because Filmic got kind of scummy, right? They sold it to Bending Spoons, I think, and now it's like really expensive.
Yeah, the same people who own and are gutting Evernote.
Yeah, this is what I have learned to understand. I saw somebody post something about this recently of like, this is what Bending Spoons does. They buy companies and then like make their apps incredibly expensive subscriptions, which I think is exactly what they have done to Evernote, right, Stephen? I think you just said like that's not only did they buy it, they've increased the pricing and everything, without really seeming to add much. So, yeah. So maybe Apple's like, we need our own version, so they now have their own camera, because the camera app can just be downloaded and used as a camera app. It's not just connected to the multicam stuff. My first round pick was that the iPad Pro features a camera on the horizontal bezel.
Ding!
Ding!
Thank you. And it's not centered, so we're all just gonna have to live with that.
Wait, where is it?
It's on the bezel, but it's not centered. It's not in the middle.
Is it like in the corner?
No, it's just off center.
Why?
Yeah, because of the magnets.
charging. Yeah,
But
They
they redesigned the pencil to clear the camera.
But this is the best they could give you. I think I was actually pretty happy because they did exactly what I thought they could do, which was they have separated the camera and the Face ID sensors. They're like split apart from each other, and the pencil magnet is in the middle of that. So they've done what I wanted, but what I wanted has ended up in we're gonna have an off center camera. So there you go.
Interesting. I did not know. Today I learned.
What I like is on Apple's page, they're talking about center stage. It says stay front and center, and then underneath you can see the non-centered camera, which is really
Perfect.
great.
Also, those people aren't centered in the image.
Exactly. Well, I mean, in that the screenshot that I put in Discord, they're moving around because it's center stage.
Yeah.
They
Everyone's
should have
favorite
put
feature.
center within quotes. Say front and center.
Yeah.
Would be
Middle-ish
better.
stage.
Yeah.
So the end of round 1, we're tied.
Yes.
1-1-1.
Who could have seen it coming?
Going into round 2, my pick was Apple unveils a new Apple Pencil.
Ding, 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 ding.
Non-graded support for gestures like squeezing and the inclusion of haptic feedback. Apple Pencil
And it's
Pro.
amazing.
Yes.
The haptic feedback is so delightful and very prominent.
Yes,
It's
feels nice.
really good.
Feels nice. It's in the top of the pencil, which is not an eraser, and I actually think it's fine. Like the gesture to bring up the quick menu with tools, I think it's really cleverly done with the squeezing. I mean, it's an Apple Pencil. It feels like an Apple Pencil 2, but with more features. And you can tell that it's not a regular Apple Pencil because it says Apple Pencil Pro on the top of the device. So,
where really this is actually just Apple Pencil 3, but they've gotten themselves into a situation where the naming has become so complicated that they've called it Apple Pencil Pro, because they called it Apple Pencil Pro. But then I realized later on, but it's the same price as the Apple Pencil. Like they've only called it Apple Pencil Pro because they've gotten themselves into a weird mess, I feel like, right? Because in theory, like judging from the way that Apple does things, if it's called Apple Pencil Pro, it's more expensive.
But it's not.
But it's not.
Yeah.
But it's great though. This is a fantastic enhancement for the Apple Pencil, and like especially with the iPad Pro. They work really well together. Like the barrel roll feature is fantastic. The haptic feature is really good, and you can squeeze. It's like the whole third of the pencil. Like it's not even just like in a very specific spot. It still has the tap thing if you want to do that. I like the integration with Pencil Kit, like how it kind of generates do you remember like Path, right? Where it make the little radial of dials. It kind of does that around where the pencil is. So it's very easy to select what you want rather than going down to the thing, tap, 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 as you do right now with Pencil Kit. And I'm very intrigued to see what developers can add to that, because I think you can do some fun stuff. So there's a lot of like fun haptic things you can do, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with it. But Apple's done a good job with just like the basic Pencil Kit tools and the way that they work for this Apple Pencil, so it's really nice.
And you can see where they're going, where eventually there'll just be two pencils, right? There'll be the USB-C one, and then this one you kind of pick the one for your budget or your needs. It's easy, and I did it. It's easy to make fun of the 4 pencils for sale. Look, 2 of those are basically legacy for iPads that are still around, like our beloved iPad mini, which got no attention this week. But you can see where they're going. Apple Pencil, Apple Pencil Pro. I think that's great. And it's just a matter of getting there, probably in the next year or so.
Yeah, basically, every iPad supports 2 Apple Pencils. And the Apple does a decent job on the website of showing you which ones are for the iPad that you have. And I think it's the original iPad supports the Apple Pencil 1, even though you can't charge it with that.
Yes. Yeah, that's the real oddball.
Which is like, maybe you just didn't need to do that,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I do worry a little bit about this. You know, there are people who are really big iPad accessory proponents, and I'm just afraid we're going to have Apple Pencil Bros here pretty soon.
Oh, okay. There he is. I was like,
Okay.
I don't understand what this means, but we got there. You know, I thought we were going somewhere serious for a second.
I'm concerned. YouTube's going to be overrun.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're very concerned.
My pick in round 2, the new iPad Air comes in the current iPad Pro sizes, 11-inch and 12.9-inch. Ding.
Ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
Well,
No.
They are the same
no,
size.
I just
No.
want to explore in the space for a moment.
No, this is not ideation time. This is give Stephen the point time.
Specifically says 12.9. Like, I'm just saying, I just want to get it out there. I just want to, like, we're just asking the questions.
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
we're just asking the questions.
Yeah.
All right.
What if 5G got in my body, you know?
What if? Where did that 0.9 of an inch go? You know?
It was an inside job.
But I'm just saying, you said 12.9, but it's 13.
They rounded up
Just
the
saying.
name. The physical size
They
is the same as the
said
iPad.
they're gonna round them up, and also I believe Kate pointed out in the chat that Jason got this point in the draft. So
No, I
he's-
know. Yeah.
So is Steven less than Jason?
Well, I already beat Jason, so it didn't matter to me.
Well, but still, it's about
What was
democracy
a
and
point
whatnot.
here or there? I'm already champion, undefeated. When it
Only-
comes to
We're
draft.
not arguing that.
Well, you brought it up.
Kate
It's
brought
about
it up.
Steven's right. It's about Steven's rights. Okay.
Steven's rights. Okay, interesting. It is incredible, by the way, the text on the iPad website, like on the page, where underneath the size it says measured diagonally as a rectangle. The 13-inch iPad Air is 12.9 inches, and the 11-inch iPad Air is 10.86 inches. It's incredible. Like, why even? Like, just don't bother. It doesn't need to be there. It's okay. We can all live with it. Yes, of course, Steven gets the point, but I'm just asking the questions. It's hilarious to me that they've put that on the actual page. Like, underneath
it
where it
is.
says, like, what is the size of
It
the
is.
screen? It's these two numbers, except the fact that neither of these numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. It's hilarious.
That's how they've done the Mac notebooks forever. It's a good change.
But they don't usually say it, though, do they?
I think they do on the tech spec. That's actually 13 point whatever inches instead of 13.
I'm going to it now.
Okay,
I'm intrigued.
MacBook Air tech specs.
I mean, if they'd say it, it's definitely not as prominent as on the iPad
Yeah.
page.
I suspect also it will get less prominent over time on the iPad
Yeah.
spec page. This is a transition like everything else. Can we just have a sidebar for a second?
Yeah,
Okay.
always.
How thankful are we as commentators that Apple's really bad at naming things? You know how many hours of content, how many thousands
Yeah.
of words have been spilled over
Mhm.
Apple's bad naming conventions?
It's great for the
Yeah.
content. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to
Maybe
thank
that's why they
everyone
do-
in Marcom.
Maybe that's why they do it.
They just like to hear us talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they do it because they like the fact that it's more complicated for us to say.
Maybe.
You know, like we have all taken years off of our vocal cords by saying 0.9 for the
right.
last like
0.9.
decade.
Right.
Point
Right.
nine.
And if you think
Point
about
nine.
it, isn't that if you think
0.9,
about it,
0.9.
isn't that bad for the environment in terms
a lot
of
of
carbon
CO2.
emissions?
So,
Yeah.
well, that's a good point. Yes, an extra breath I didn't need
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
Yeah.
to emit into the world.
So yeah, take that, Mother Earth.
It's going to take me a long time to stop saying 12.9. I
Yeah,
know that much.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
All right, Mike, you're up.
Yes, my second round pick is the iPad Pro has a higher starting price for both models.
Ding.
And oh boy,
Ding.
do they. Oh
Yes.
boy, do
Well-
they. The 11-inch went from $799 to $999 at starting price, and the 12-inch went from $1,099 to $1,299.
They
Yeah,
did.
very
They
expensive.
did. It's a flexulator. They did bump from 128 to 256, but
Thanks.
you got to think it's that OLED. It's that
Oh,
OLED
yeah.
screen.
No, it's a bunch of things. It's the OLED, and now the fact that there is a bigger iPad Air. Like it makes there is pricing sense in this, right? That like they have to push these products apart to have like this
Yes.
good, better, best strategy. I understand it, but and I'm not hating on it. It costs what it costs. You don't have to buy one if you really don't like the price. Like it just is what it is. But yeah, they really did increase it. But if they were going to increase it at any point, this was the time to do it because they added a bunch and they redesigned it and it's cool and thin, incredibly thin. People will be excited by this, and I think you will forget the extra price you paid once you start using the thing and you love how thin it is and light it is and how incredible the screen is. But
it's kind of hard to forget when you're spending 3,000 euros on it, but yeah, I get your point.
In what scenario do you get to 3,000 euros?
Very easily if you want to get the 1 terabyte.
No, I'm not like criticizing. I'm intrigued. Like, how do you get to that?
That's the one that I want to get. I'm just going to do it right now. If I go to the Italian Apple store, I'm going to say order an iPad.
Whoa, what is intrattenimento? Is that entertainment?
Intrattenimento, yes.
Yeah. What a
so
word.
I'm going to say 13-inch, space black, 1 terabyte because I want to have the good stuff.
So you don't need that to start.
Standard glass, not the nano texture. Just Wi-Fi. No engraving. Apple Pencil Pro. No engraving. Save. Magic Keyboard. Yes, thank you. Save. Let's see. No trading. Apple Care, because I'm not a chump. 3,026 euros.
Well, I mean, like, look, the thing is, you add all the accessories in, and it's going to get somewhere. Also, a terabyte? Who needs a terabyte? It's an iPad.
Who buys an iPad Pro without the accessories?
I did not buy the Magic Keyboard.
What?
Wait, what?
I don't use a Magic Keyboard. I use a laptop.
Ooh.
Mr. Myke Hurley.
Why would I make a fake laptop?
I am productive.
Why would I make a fake laptop when I can just use a real laptop? You know what I'm saying?
Federico, do you remember when Myke was like, hey, I'm going to work on the iPad? And he
I did.
Do you remember when he was like, he was the iPad guy with multiple iPads?
Yeah.
Do you remember when the iPad guy took a Mac and cut it in half?
Yeah, to make a better iPad.
So yeah, exactly. I just decided to use a laptop instead. I'm going to use my iPad to be the best iPad that it can be. For me, I don't need a keyboard for that.
It's TV in the tub. Let's go.
Yeah. I bought the new incredibly adjustable Smart Folio. Do you have
this in person?
I have it. Yeah.
Can you walk us through some of the adjustment changes? I don't understand.
Yes. Yeah, it made no sense. I like that everybody reported it and nobody knew what it meant. It was just like, Apple's website says this. Who knows? Basically, you know how you would take the Smart Keyboard and you roll it around into that triangle, right? So it makes a triangle so you can stand it up. There are now multiple sets of magnets on the case. So you can move the triangle to different positions. So it can be basically completely at 90 degrees in that terrifying way that it has been for years. And then you can move it up to the next set of magnets so you can tilt it back further. And so then when you flip it over, you can do the same, right? So you can have different adjustability when it's kind of on like desktop mode or in viewing mode. So it is an even better smart cover. So
okay. And you got the denim, right?
Yeah, I got the denim because
it's the only color.
It's the only color that they have.
It's a color.
How's the blue? Is it nice?
No.
Okay.
It's not a good blue, really. It's like, okay, you know what it is? It's a pro blue. Do you know what that means?
Boring.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretending to be sky blue, but it isn't. You know,
it's like pretending to be blue, but it's not.
Maybe there's like somebody described sky blue to somebody else, and then they made that. Like it's better than, for me, it's better than black or white, like, because I don't want black or white. And so I went with the blue one, but I really wish they had like the purple one. Like I really like the purple iPad mini case. I would like it if they did that, but
or the orange one.
I've gone with the blue for now, or the orange, or any of them really. But I'm just happy that I didn't have to get black or white. So at least I got something.
Another thing I would like clarification on the iPad Pros.
Yes.
I think you guys talked about this on Upgrade, but I think it's worth repeating. Can you explain how nano texture on the new iPad Pro is different than nano texture on the Studio and Pro Display XDR?
Federico and I were told that the glass is chemically treated as to how they get the effect.
Not etched.
What that exactly means, I don't know, but it's not etched. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know people have been talking about, and rightfully so, the Studio Display and the Pro Display XDR, it's that etched glass. I was like, use the special cleaning cloth. People are kind of nervous around it. And
Well,
they're
they do
like,
still give you a specific cloth,
they do?
They do, yeah.
Yes.
They give you the cloth.
Okay.
Yeah.
and they recommend you just use their cloth.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Now,
they said it's
I think
chemically
it's fine.
altered glass.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
It's
it does seem different. Does that come at a price of picture quality in your hands-on time?
Yes.
I think to an extent it does.
If you have any light on the display, you lose the blacks of the OLED.
Yeah, it did look like taking a look at my photos again, it
Yeah.
did look like it was losing some of the shininess. And the
Yeah.
best way that I can describe it for people who may be familiar with this context, it's the same conversation that Mike and I and OTJ had months ago when it came to the Steam Deck OLED, when we wanted to get the Steam Deck OLED with a glossy display versus the matte display, and the glossy just looked better because like it made the colors pop a lot more. The Steam Valve calls it like the anti-glare Steam Deck OLED, and it's almost like the same concept of like you do lose some of the shininess of OLED. And once you have OLED, I think that's why I'm gonna get a glossy display because I want to be hit in the face with colors essentially.
Mhm.
And but it does help with reflections. So
Yeah, but it's like yes, you lose some of the color, but you can better see the display than if it was a glossy display, right? So like it and under non-direct light, you would not know. From what I saw, anyway. Like if there was not direct light on the display, to me it looked as good as the regular display. But when light was on the display, you're like, wow, it's not like reflecting, but it looks like the light is kind of being trapped. You know what I mean? So like, right? It's like the light is not reflecting, but you can tell that something's changed. You can still more clearly see that display than a regular display. But I wouldn't make this choice. Like the way that I described it in Upgrade is the same that I describe it here. You should only get this if you already know you need it. Don't get it because you think it's going to make your display look better. Yeah. I would not recommend it because like, I spend a lot of time outside. I wouldn't recommend it for this because you're going to lose a lot, unless you are in a situation where wherever you're using an iPad, you can literally never read the iPad, then maybe get it, right?
Sure.
But like, I don't know who that person is realistically.
My instant use case thought of that was like the people who use iPads in like the cockpit of a plane. Like, okay, maybe there would be good.
But is that because that's a very specialized use?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it is incredibly impressive that they have been able to do this on an iPad. Right?
It's really cool.
Because they have had to go back to the drawing board to create this glass. And it's incredibly impressive how like you can use the Apple Pencil on it, right? Like it's just an iPad Pro. And Federico, you said you felt like it felt a little different maybe to touch.
Maybe.
It's one of those things that if they tell you, maybe you think, it's really impressive what they've done, but this is the most niche of niche use case to buy this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the overlaps at which you're the person that buys the nano textured iPad Pro, like you've gone a bunch of levels down at that point.
I have one last nanotexture question.
Yeah.
In the hands-on, the bezels are not nanotexture. They're shiny. Is that weird?
It was maybe you can see the contrast.
Is that the case? I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, that was the case.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that's more impressive to me. I think that's impressive. That's a flex right there, right? They're just like, look what we can do. Not only can we do this, we can do it in just the places we exactly need it to be. And as Tim is pointing out in the Discord, maybe that would interfere with the camera and the sensors and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee. I would almost guarantee that's what that is.
The camera would be terrible. Even worse. Can you imagine a worse camera on the iPad? Yeah, well, that would be it.
Yeah, it's a it's nanotexture selfies.
Yeah.
So at the end of round 2, we're all tied with 2 points.
No way.
Unprecedented. This episode of Connected is brought to you by NetSuite. Quick math. The less your business spends on operations, multiple systems, and delivering your product or service, the more margin you have and the more money you get to keep. But with higher expenses on materials, employees, distribution, and borrowing, everything costs more. So to reduce costs and headaches, smart businesses are graduating to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more into one platform and one source of truth. With NetSuite, you reduce costs because NetSuite lives in the cloud, so there's no hardware required, and it can be accessed from anywhere. You can cut the costs of maintaining multiple systems because you have one unified business management suite. You improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. Over 37,000 companies have already made the move. So do the math, and you'll see how you'll profit with NetSuite. It is important to cut costs and boost business performance. And that thing about manual tasks and errors, those go hand in hand. When you have multiple systems, you're moving things in between different apps or websites, or things go wrong, and NetSuite brings it all under one umbrella. By popular demand, NetSuite has extended its one-of-a-kind flexible financing program for a few more weeks, so head on over to netsuite.com/connected. That's NETSUITE. netsuite.com/connected. Our thanks to NetSuite for their support of the show and Relay FM. Okay, time for risky picks. Things take a turn.
Let's go.
Let's go. My risky
Let's
pick. Well,
go.
let's just rip the band-aid off. Let's go through this quickly. I said the new iPad Pros can run a version of macOS when needed. Non-graded, native, virtualized, or Mac Virtual Display? None of them. No. Zero.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. No. It's just a pure old iPad OS. That's it. No software changes. No macOS integration. Nothing. Yeah. It's just. I knew that I was wish casting with this one, and I did not get it. Yeah. What else is there to say? Like, do we?
I mean,
expect...
it was copium, right? Like, everyone was hoping they were going to do it. Let's put Mac OS on it. And who knows? Let's just push this one a month down the line, right? Maybe they'll do it at WWDC.
Man,
you know?
But we always say that, like,
yeah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So yeah, that is not a point from me.
Not.
But hey, there's some people who wished even worse.
Myke, what's your pick? No,
that's you, Steven.
My pick. We get new Macs.
We told you.
How does it feel, right? How do you feel, Stephen, that the M4 appeared in an iPad first?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
It feels
this
weird.
Is what this was. You just wouldn't accept it, right? You were unwilling to accept that the iPad would receive the M4 before the Mac Studio receives an M3.
I don't think the Mac Studio is ever going to get an M3 now. I think they're going to jump all to M4. It's weird.
That's what Mark said.
It's weird. Yeah, it's what Mark said. It's weird. It's strange. But maybe soon. Maybe this fall. I don't think there's going to be a lot of hardware at WWDC. We will make those picks in just a couple of weeks. But no new Macs. Just iPads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Myke.
That's not what you think.
Look, I mean, the iPad Pro gets MagSafe charging, but it's not what you think. I mean, what if it was what you thought
not what you think.
What if, like, the way you thought is, like, magnetically it attaches to the Magic Keyboard and, like, technically you can charge it while it's magnetically attached? You know what I mean? It's like magnetic charging. In a way, it's not what you thought it was. It's a different way, you know? What do you think?
No.
It's not what you think, is it? It's not what you think.
It's not what you thought.
Look, good point. All right, I'll take that. I was really sad. I was so hoping they were going to do it. It seemed like a thing to do, but yeah, they didn't do it. I just thought it would get the Mac one, you know? That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to put a little Mac one on there. But again, you know what, actually? Thinking about it now, in hindsight, I think that charging connector might be too large for this iPad. I don't think it would fit on there, right? The Mac one.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Incredibly thin iPads.
Once again, we are tied.
We did a good job, all right? Like this was our first one with the reduced reduced difficulty. And I think that we all picked pretty well. I think maybe Federico went a bit too hard, but by and large,
but he did just as well as you and I did. So did he?
Well, yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right? I feel like if there was a scale, it would be Federico's was the least likely to maybe Steven's was the most likely, just based on what is the likelihood of this kind of thing occurring, even though we didn't think there was going to be Macs, but it's not hard to imagine that they could have also said, here's a Mac, right? Yeah. Like they do that. They have new Macs every now and then. But I think this was a better show than where we've been in previous years. So we can take this away. We can all learn from it.
Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. We got to flip a coin. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a minute, though, because the beta has expired on Dice by Peacock, so I now need to go to the App Store to download the shipping version. Okay. It'll only take a second.
While you do that, I'll just remind us how it works, because we did also change this recently.
Thank you.
The coin flipping. So, in the case of a three-way tie, which we are now, hosts will all make their calls at the same time, with flipping continuing until the winner is named. So, we'll all make a pick, you'll flip the coin, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I am ready now if we all want to start making our picks.
Okay. Who goes first?
You go first.
I'm going to say tails.
I'm going to say tails.
I'm going to say heads then.
Yeah.
Heads.
Winner! He's the winner. Let's go, baby.
So now we got to pick for second place.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Steven, you pick first this time.
I'll pick tails again.
Oh,
you want to pick heads or tails, Federico? You going to go heads?
Heads.
All right.
Heads.
Okay.
Federico.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm gonna adjust my my tricky over here. Who's the annual?
You are, I think. Let me see.
Oh, do I get a special name now?
That's just in the flexies.
No, don't I have a name for? Isn't there a consolidation name?
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to go look it up. Let's see. The flexies.
I'm such a winner right now. Currently,
if someone holds all 4 titles, they're allowed to choose their own name.
All 4 titles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the current annual Flexi winner?
The current annual Flexi winner is me.
Okay.
No. Yes, me. So.
Okay.
So now
but I am currently my own special camp, where I am currently draft champion and annual and keynote rookie champion.
Nice.
It's all coming up Myke over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got so many trophies right now. I got a pennant behind me. I got a trophy in front of me with my little circles. This is incredible.
Yeah, both the circles are over London.
Both the circles are over London. Let's go.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Myke.
It might only be for like 3 weeks.
Myke.
Yeah, this may be a very short. It will be a very short one.
It will. I wouldn't say that. Could be a very short one.
Could be.
I don't think this is the shortest though, right? Because there was that time in COVID when they did like event after event for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, there was
like
a lot
they kept doing them, and so I don't think this is the shortest period.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Ecamm. Ecamm Live is the leading video production and live streaming studio built for the Mac. Ecamm does all aspects of video, not just live streaming. It's perfect for simplifying a bunch of your video workflows. It's easy enough to get started with quickly, but powerful enough that you can create just about anything with video because you can do it all with the Ecamm app. I love Ecamm's dedication to being as native and built into macOS as it is. macOS actually has a lot of window management stuff that a lot of other video platforms don't necessarily support very well. And Ecamm, like, these people get and know and love the Mac, and it shows in the software, and that always impresses me. So whether you're streaming or recording, podcasting or presenting, everything you need is there in Ecamm, including support for multiple cameras and screen sharing with a live camera switcher that lets you direct the show in real time. Stand out from the crowd with high quality video. Add logos, titles, lower thirds, graphics, share your screen, drop in video clips, bring on interview guests, use a green screen, and so much more. Ecamm Live does it all. Their members are entrepreneurs, marketing professionals, podcasters, educators, musicians, church leaders, bloggers, and content creators of all kinds. Get 1 month for free today at ecamm.com/connected and using the code CONNECTED at checkout. That's 1 month free of Ecamm Live at ecamm.com/connected. That's ECAMM, ecamm.com/connected with the code CONNECTED. Go there now to check it out. Our thanks to Ecamm for their support of the show and Relay FM. The Flexies is a game held after each edition of the Rickies. It consists of a series of additional picks in relation to the upcoming Apple event or year. Scoring is completed separately from the main game, but like the Rickies, the order of picks is set by the results of the previous game, and ties will be broken by using dice by Peacock. Please lie down as the rules are read. Hosts must make a minimum of 5 Flexi picks. Each correct pick is awarded 1 point. Wrong picks do not remove any points, but no partial points may be awarded. The winner is determined by comparing the percentage of correct Flexis made by each host. The winner can use their chosen title as long as they are the winner. Federico shall be named Prince Flexi, and then known as King Flexi when having won both keynote and annual games. Myke has chosen Duke of Flexington and uses the name Archduke Flexington when applicable. Stephen is the Attorney General Flexi and uses the title Secretary of Deflex when necessary. Loser of the Flexis must compensate the winner of the Flexis by donating to a charity of the winner's choice. The amount of the donation is $25 per wrong Flexi made by the loser. The money must be donated on air. And as a reminder of who our winners and losers are, currently Myke is the event Flexi winner and I am the annual Flexi winner. So if I win, I get to use my special title, which is fun.
Oh, nice.
And I don't get a name for being... Well, I guess it's going to pass anyway.
There's
Maybe,
not one, it's
so
just
we'll
the
see.
Flexis. They're different games,
all
you
right.
know?
I just want names. I just want to collect them up.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Myke, you're up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. So I'll run through them all. New pencil has a button.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
No, but it has a squeeze area, not a button. Apple
Yeah.
now sells 4 Apple Pencils. Oh boy, do they.
Ding.
Yes, they do.
They really do. The new pencil comes in color choices.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
It does
No.
not. The new Magic Keyboard matches the aluminium colors, which it does.
It
Ding.
does.
Just on the inside, not the outside. Kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like matching, but it's like, because it's not aluminium on the outside, right? It's like that. It's the material, whatever you'd call it, the Magic Keyboard material. There is no longer a Smart Keyboard. Smart Keyboard is gone.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
not a product
goodbye.
in Apple's lineup anymore. But Logitech, I saw today, they have a new combo touch keyboard that's out.
Of
So
course. Of
if
course
you
they
really
do.
want that, you can go for that. iPad Pro does not get an M4.
Eh.
I was hedging on that one. I had a thought. This thought has been thought many times, but I'm just going to put it out there. The reminder of the iPad Air 2 and iOS 9 in 2015,
Yeah.
where the iPad Air 2 was incredibly overpowered for what it could do, and then we got split view, and it only ran on that device. I do think that is going to happen here, but not necessarily in a way that's like, because it's going to run Mac OS or whatever. Like, I am forming the camp of like, there are going to be features available just for new processors from Apple this year that are AI related. So this iPad will be able to do whatever it's going to be, and the next iPhone maybe this one, maybe the current iPhone can because it's a 3 nanometer. Maybe that's where they're going to cut off. I don't know, but I do think that's going to happen, which is one of the reasons that they maybe jump straight to M4. One of the many reasons, but we'll see. Pick number 6, iPadOS 17 AI enhancements for iPad only.
No.
I mean, unless you count Final Cut, but it's not really iPadOS. 7, Apple's iPad Pro keyboard features a new key switch technology. If it does, we don't know. And I don't know how we would know.
I actually asked. I asked,
amazing.
and it said
Thank
it's
you.
the same mechanism as before.
Can they be trusted, though? You know?
I mean, it was literally an Apple representative.
I don't
but
know if they can be trusted when it comes to keyboards.
Maybe.
And then finally, I don't even remember picking this. The iPad Pro gets an action button. I don't know why I picked this. I don't remember this happening, but apparently it did.
That brings you at 2 out of 8 flexes correct for a correct
I prefer
ratio
25% because that sounds better.
25%. 25%
Yeah, I prefer to say I
ratio.
got 25% correct.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Steven, you're up.
New iPad Airs come in colors that are as vibrant as the back of the iMacs.
No, they are not.
Really not.
They're really not.
The new Apple Pencil is named Apple Pencil Pro.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Ding.
You got this
got
one.
that one. Good. Everyone sounds so excited for me. Apple announces
I mean,
AI.
you got to go through them all, you know? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Apple announces AI-powered changes to iWork.
No, I work to be seen. At
No
all.
iWork to be seen. We did get
We
some
got some feedback.
We did. Yeah.
What was it, Stephen?
Feedback was, is iWork still used as a brand? Something we talked about. We got a note from somebody who says basically where they work, iWork is very popular and iWork is still used. They work in a round building somewhere, California. Final Cut for iPad gains a feature specifically for video and Vision OS. Did not get this,
no.
but for a second I thought I was. Like, they're talking about Final Cut. I was like, yes, my Flexi. No, they don't do anything with Vision Pro.
No.
iPad Virtual Display announced for Vision OS. Nope.
Yeah. I wish. No.
This next one, I missed it by one word. A new Apple Pencil is announced and only works with the new iPad Pros. If I left Pros off, I would have made it because it does work with the new iPad Air.
Yeah. True. You sure said with the new iPads,
I
that
know.
would have been fine.
So close.
Yeah.
New iPad Pros start with at least 256 gigabytes of storage. The non-graded context we mentioned earlier, it used to be 128 gigs. And I got that one right.
Nice.
So I am 2 for 7 or 28.6%.
Very good. Isn't it
Very
funny that the new Apple Pencil Pro works with the non-Pro iPads?
it's
I mean,
kind
I
of
guess.
funny.
Yeah, kind
It's
of.
just like a funny thing. It's just funny
It's
to
not.
me.
It's not funny anymore if you consider what you said, which is really just this is Apple Pencil 3.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's what they, and I think that proves it even more that this is Apple Pencil 3, right?
Yeah,
That the
yeah.
Apple Pencil Pro works with the iPad Air.
Yeah.
But what's in a name? You know,
What's in a name?
What's in the name?
similar that like iPad Air being heavier, thicker than iPad Pro doesn't matter. Air doesn't mean light. Air means regular.
Yeah.
That's what it means. It means start here.
Boys, sometimes
Let's go, baby.
in life you gotta go with your gut,
Mhm.
you know, and sometimes that's the wrong decision.
Sometimes there's fire in your gut. You know, you got fire in your belly.
Sometimes you just gotta follow your passion, your fire, whatever it is, and sometimes the results may be horrible.
Mhm.
I present to you Flexi number 1. The new iPad Pros have slimmer bezels than before. I believe this is incorrect just by
Wow.
judging. I looked at them in real life and I could tell that they were the same bezels.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they say
No.
something about a more compact
Mm,
11-inch?
I don't
no,
think so.
No.
Okay.
And I have
No, they-
anonymous feedback from somebody who I believe that they are the same size bezels.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right.
I've seen them. They're the same.
Okay.
Number 2, Apple refreshes its input accessories for USB-C. So
Wow,
no Magic
wow.
Trackpad and no Magic Keyboard updates.
Mm-mm.
Number 3, the new iPad keyboard can also be paired with a Mac or Vision Pro.
Nope.
Number 4, the video is shorter than 31 minutes. It was actually what, 35, 40? What was it?
Yeah, something in there.
Yeah. Number 5, the new iPad Pro has the M4.
Hey!
Yeah. And spoiler, my luck, hands here. Number 6, the new Apple Pencil is compatible with and has special features for Vision OS. No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nah, we really thought this was going to happen
Me too, but no.
because there was this.
And I
like-
still think it will happen.
yeah.
It
There was this
didn't.
structure that me and Federico had a picture in front of, which was like this illustrated Apple logo.
Yeah.
And it looked like it had been made in one of those like 3D paint
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
things. And when Federico saw that, he was like, look, there it is. That's going to work. So maybe it will. Maybe it will. I mean, it has a gyroscope in it now. You know, like
It
maybe this is
does.
a Vision OS 2 thing.
I
This
think
could
it
be a
will
Vision OS 2
happen.
thing.
Could be a Vision OS 2 thing, yeah. Where were we? Number 7. Gaming on the iPad Pro is mentioned with at least a AAA game shown. This is marked as incorrect, but didn't they show Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, no, this is correct.
This is correct? Okay.
This is correct.
Yeah, this is
but
correct,
It
yeah.
doesn't. Mark it green, please, but it doesn't change much, really.
Well, you know,
Oh.
at least you deserve your correct answers, and that was correct.
Yeah. Number 8. The new iPad external keyboard has at least one programmable action key. No, it's literally the same keys as before. Number 9, the new iPad Pro
Oh,
with
this explains why. Like, I was talking to
Yeah,
someone,
yeah.
and I turned around, and Federico was deep in the settings of an iPad, and this was what you were doing. You were
Yes.
seeing if
Yes.
there was.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
It was like, oh, look
I
at him
actually,
over there. What's
I
he up
actually
to?
had to enable Stage Manager myself because Stage Manager was disabled on all the iPads by default,
Yep.
which is funny in and of itself. But yeah. Number 9, the new iPad Pro with M4 has Thunderbolt 5. No, it does not. It's Thunderbolt 4. Number 10, Vision Pro launch dates in more countries are announced. No, I thought this was going to happen,
Cannot believe this. It felt like the whole point of having a London event.
especially because they opened with the Vision Pro, and I thought, oh, here they come, but no.
Wild. I really can't believe that. There is like a part of me which is like, why did they even have that big event in London? But I mean, I'm happy they did, but it seemed like that was the reason, right? But oh, there you go.
You know, I
Just love
gotta
it,
I gotta actually come clean. I think Josie in the Discord is right. They showed Assassin's Creed talking about the previous iPads. That Flexi is not correct.
Oh.
Josie is right. It was
Okay.
about, now I remember, it was about the previous iPads. So, yeah, thank you, Josie.
I don't know.
No.
I think you get that. I
No.
think that's fine. All right.
No, because I said gaming on the iPad Pro is mentioned. And I think they were talking about last gen stuff.
Hmm.
It's fine. Like, this is not what I meant anyway with this Flexi. So, number 11, the new iPad Pros have Wi-Fi 7, and they do not.
They do not.
And number 12, finally, put me out of my misery here. The new iPad keyboard has a dedicated Siri key,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nope.
it does not. So, at the very least, I mean, I can put a positive spin on this. This
Okay.
is a new record. 1 out of 12 correct. You know, if the record were for people who do horribly on this game, I would be a winner.
That's 8.3%.
8.3%, lowest ever score on the Flexis, is now mine.
That's rough,
Which
man.
means
No,
that
I'm sure you're right. You know, like with the gaming thing, because I mean, I'm trying to find it now. They specifically spoke about ray tracing as being a part of the M4, that it was built into the graphics on the M4. that there was ray tracing and mesh shading.
You're right. They did mention Diablo Immortal, and you and I laughed when they mentioned Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, that's not the right game. If that's the one they were showing. Yeah, okay, I'm at that part, and they're showing Diablo Immortal, which is definitely not. Yes, why did they mix that up in the way that they did? Like they should have shown Assassin's Creed, but maybe it just has no ray tracing. Right.
Look, it's fine. Now we see people are saying that the keyboard has a Siri key. Where do you see the Siri key? There's no Siri key.
It's the dictation key from the Mac.
Yeah,
no Siri key.
No Siri key.
So that means, look, I appreciate people trying to make me save money. It's okay. Because I can donate $275 to a charity of Steven's choice. So, Steven, you are the winner of the Flexis, and you get to choose where this $275 should go to.
Yeah. Well, I think in light of Apple crushing all art in name of the iPad, we need to.
We got so close.
I know. I would like you to donate to Memphis Youth Arts Initiative. I'll put the link in the Discord. This is a cool local group that started a few years ago, working with students to art and arts and enrichment programs like music, dance, all sorts of cool stuff. They do a lot of stuff for the community, and I think they need your money.
Yeah. I'm doing it right now.
We'll let you donate. I'll let you do that, and I'll wrap us up. How does that sound?
Thank you.
We appreciate you hanging out with us this week. I know Friday's a weird day for us, but people traveling, people doing stuff. But we made it. If you want to see these scores online, and we got a bunch of coverage from ourselves and our friends, it's all in the show notes this week. relay.fm/connected/501. They're also, of course, in your podcast player. There are also 2 links. You can submit feedback or follow-up via the form on our website. And you can also sign up to become a member and get Connected Pro, which is the longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. Every Relay FM membership also comes with access to our members-only Discord, members-only newsletter, some members-only podcasts, lots of great stuff. So go check it out. Just $7 a month, and enjoy longer ad-free versions of the show. You can find our work online. You can find Federico as the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. Your team did a great job when you were traveling, Federico. I have to say, lots of stuff on the website all week. They totally killed it. I'm looking forward to your triumphant return to blogging now that you're home. You can also find Federico. I don't know what that meant. You can also find Federico on social media as Viticci, Viticci. You can find Myke across a bunch of other shows here on the network. Mondays, or I guess now Tuesdays, episode of Upgrade was great. I love when y'all do the immediately after the event shows. It was a great joy to listen to. You also co-host Cortex and a bunch of other shows. And of course, you do great work over at Cortex Brand. You can find Myke on Mastodon and Threads as iMyke. You can find my writing at 512pixels.net, and I co-host Mac Power Users each and every Sunday, except this week, MPU's already out because we talked about iPads. I will say the next MPU next Sunday is a gem. I think people are going to love it. You can find me on social media on Threads as ISMH86 or ISMH at eworld.social on Mastodon. I am working to merge my social media handles, so I'm still taking suggestions. Right now, ISMH512 is the winner because I can get that on Instagram, but let me know.
Don't take it.
Don't take it.
All right, then that won't be fair if you do that. So don't you dare do that, or I'll be really mad at you. Yeah, you don't want that.
Then it'll be ISMH86 forever. Mac Daddy was taken. I looked at first. So
it would have been so good, though.
It would have been something.
What about Papa Mac?
Papa Mac. I will look.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Jam, NetSuite, and Ecamm, for making the show possible. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Goodbye from the millennium, baby.
Bye, y'all.